This is my focus group interview with Mr. Graham Offer. He is the industry professional. So my first question is, what is the most common request you've had?
For aesthetic plastic surgery, so
Yeah.
cosmetic surgery,
Yeah.
because I'm a plastic and reconstructive surgeon, so I do that side and I do the reconstructive side as well. So for cosmetic side, probably breast augmentation. That's the most common requested cosmetic procedure in the UK at the moment.
Okay. Have you ever had to reject a request or advise someone not to have it?
For breast augmentation or for other surgeries?
For anything, any kind of surgery?
Yeah, I mean surgery, the thing with surgery is that it's, it's obviously a medical procedure, and although maybe some of the adverts you see in the media might suggest that it's just like having your hair done or go and get this done, it's not. It's a medical procedure, so you have to take a full medical history and generally talk to the general practitioner. So I've turned people down if they've had medical issues. For example, as people age, they might want a facelift, say.
Mm-hmm.
They also develop medical problems, so sometimes they have bleeding tendencies, they have problems with their heart, they have other problems that make a long anaesthetic, when you put someone out asleep so they can have the procedure, that might make that more risky. So sometimes I've turned people down on medical grounds. Other times I've turned people down because they have unrealistic expectations. So they may have a certain view of themselves, of what they want to achieve, and some weird view of what they feel is perfection that is impossible to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't feel that I can achieve that, then I will tell them that. And if I don't think they're realistic, then I will turn them down. The worst form of that is patients that suffer from a medical condition called dysmorphophobia. And dysmorphophobics will focus on a particular body part and they will think there's a problem. So the classic would be, there was for example, a man who focuses very much on their nose.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a mnemonic called Simon, S-I-M-O-N, single immature male who's overly narcissistic. And that can, although there are many men that may benefit from a rhinoplasty, a nose job, you also get these other people that have this medical condition who will not respond well to rhinoplasty. So they come in and it's like they hold their nose and they tell you their story about their life, and every problem they have is related to them having a bad nose. And then they take their hands away from their nose and you think it doesn't really look very bad at all.
Is that common with women as well?
Yeah, women get it as well with different with different parts of their body. They can get it.
Okay.
If it's worth writing to the general practitioner always after I've seen a patient, before I see them for their second consultation, just to find out whether they do have problems like that or whether that's been picked up. Because some of them then respond well to psychological techniques to help them come to terms with the look. Some people have problems with their body and they actually have a problem, okay? And you can correct it and they will get better. Yeah. But there are people that have this problem and it's worth turning them down because if you operate on them, you're not going to make them better.
Okay.
You can involve psychiatrists
Yeah.
and things. The other times I've turned people down is if what they're asking for is very unnatural. Okay, so if they want a particularly unnatural look, if someone wants breasts that are the size of their head, things like that, I wouldn't do that because you've got to practice ethically. At the end of the day, I'm a doctor. I'm not just doing everything they ask me for.
Okay. Would you say there's a type of pattern with the type of procedures being done on certain women? So, for example, like I would say a lot of young women would want bigger boobs, kind of thing.
Yeah, different. Obviously, the aging procedures, so facelifts and eye lifts, things like that, come in an older age group of ladies. Mainly ladies, less for men.
Mm-hmm.
Which you could, that's your focus of your thing about how society views different people.
Yeah.
Breast augmentation. There's two groups that have breast augmentation generally. The first group is younger women who've got very small busts that maybe feel out of proportion to the rest of their figure. So they might be a 34 AA cup, and they're their clothes don't fit properly. They wear padded bras, so they don't want to wear padded bras, so they have breast augmentation. The other group that have breast augmentation are generally ladies who've had children that before children they were very happy with their bust. They might have been, say, a 34C D cut. They felt it was very fitting with their figure. They were very happy with that. But then after they've had children and breastfed, they lose their volume and they get changes in the breast that make the breast drop. So the breast loses its volume in the upper pole, it sort of scoops out, drops and sags. And they, after children, they just don't have any bust left and they go down to an AB cut. So they'll come for breast augmentation and what they want is just to look like they used to. So yeah, it's quite age specific.
Yeah. Would you say there's a specific age that get more work done than the others?
Often after children, okay. Younger women, it's breast augmentation, definitely. But I wouldn't do a tummy tuck on someone really generally before they've had babies.
Yeah.
Well, in general. So a lot of the things is to repair damage done by particular things like pregnancy, the breasts, the tummy. So they'll come for a tummy tuck to tighten that up and stop it sagging over. They might sag over the cesarean scar, give them a sore rash. The clothes don't fit, things like that. Older people then coming into 40s, 50s, 60s, then you're looking at eyelid surgery where they get loose skin on their upper lids, their lower lids, the mid-face, the jawline goes, they get a jowl, they get some sagging in the upper neck, and they might go for a facelift, which generally sorts out the jawline and the lower face, mid-face lift, upper and lower lid blepharoplasties, and maybe a brow lift. So they might have more procedures, but they generally have them in one go.
Okay. What would you say the weirdest request you've had is?
Weirdest request? Well, many years ago I had one lady come in and she wanted surgery for her legs. And so I thought, well, maybe she wants a bit of liposuction to get the shape better, to thin them out a bit around the hips. But actually what she wanted was her legs made fatter. And her legs look completely normal. And I
Did you do it?
No, of course I didn't. No, but you do get odd requests, and I think you've got to be, patient has to be realistic. And I think as well as odd requests like that, you do get people that have a request that doesn't sound weird when you listen to them, but when you look at them and then they bring loads of photos in of what they want to look like, and you think, well, that's not, you can't actually achieve it. It's very unrealistic.
Okay. What's your opinion on our documentary, Mirrored?
I think it's good. I think there is a lot of pressure on your generation to look a particular way, to conform to particular, stereotypes in the media, and I think exploring that is quite a good thing.
Yeah. Would you suggest any further questions that we could ask surgeons or people that work with you? Or not?
There's a huge area related to there's two main areas that you could look at. One is advertising standards, because there are, with anything cosmetic, there are groups that are in it just for the money. They're not in it to really help people who've got a problem with their appearance. They're in it to make money, and they sometimes, some of the clinics will do weird advertising, and then they get hammered by the advertising standards. But you have to be ethical, so it's not ethical to start advertising, or come and get your boob job here, 2-for-1 offers, time limited, or you must sign up or it'll cost you more, things like that. So I think the advertising thing will be worth looking at. And the other is standards, and there was a recent, after the PIP crisis, which was a breast implant was made in France a few years ago. The manufacturer decided to use furniture silicone rather than medical grade silicone in the implant. It was a fraud.
Was it cheaper?
Yeah, but they sold the implants a bit more expensive.
Yeah.
So the PIP caused a problem because the implant started leaking much more than normal implants, and then we started realizing there was a problem, and the French equivalent, the French medical regulator stopped the company producing them, realised what was happening, liquidated the company, put Jean-Claude Masse, who was the guy that owned it, in prison, and took the money, took all the implants out of all the ladies in France that had the implants and replaced them. Of course, suddenly everybody in the world went, well, what about us? What about the patients that have got PIP implants in the UK, of which there were about 50,000? Okay,
Yeah.
that was a few years back. So what happened was the government said, well, the NHS will take the implants out, but it won't put them back in again. They'll have to go and have it done privately, have them removed and replaced. And then they asked all the providers, all the hospitals, if they would do it for free. So Bupa did it for free, BMI did it for free, Ramsay did it for free, Nuffield did it for free, the big reputable hospital groups. But Harley Medical Group, who are a cosmetic surgery provider, didn't. And about 40,000 women were the ones that they put in. So there was a legal case, and the women tried to take Harley Medical to court. Harley Medical changed the name of their umbrella company and reset themselves up as Harley Medical Group, which they still exist now. But they can't be sued because they're overarching company, they're a different company. So there are slightly odd things that happen in some sectors, and it needs sorting out and stamping out. So there was a report called the Keogh report, which looked at that and is now looking at the standards for training to make sure people are properly qualified and practice in an ethical manner, because you don't have to be a plastic surgeon to do cosmetic surgery. You could be any surgeon. In fact, you could be just any doctor. You don't even have to be a surgeon. As long as the patient signs the consent form, you can do it. And that's wrong.
Yeah. Okay, that's all my questions.
Okay.
Thank you.